today, on this feast of the Epiphany, it is the story of a journey. The journey of these three wise men from the East, living beyond the borders of Israel. And they follow a star through vast deserts and foreign lands. They encounter King Herod, ask, where is this newborn king? Herod knows nothing about it, but is threatened because there's another king in the land. So he decides to use these wise men and say, well, report to me what you learn. And they go on. And they find Christ, the Christ child. They give him gifts. They worship him, but they're warned not to return to Herod and go back another way. Herod is enraged and threatened by this new child. Sends out the soldiers to kill every infant in the region while Mary, Jesus, and Joseph flee to Israel. The story of a long journey through strange lands and difficult terrain, guided by a star, full of treachery and tragedy, until these wise men find Jesus, worship him, give him gifts. And I think that story has captured the imagination of Christians throughout the century. It's such a compelling story of a journey, and it reminds us of the journey in our lives, and indeed the journey that is our life. Because our life is a journey. And there are many journeys in it. As you know, Notre Dame will play in a football game tomorrow for the National Championship. As you probably are also aware, it's been a while since we played in such a game. 25 years to be exact, but who's counting? And the effort to return to this game, as you know, has been full of some frustrations, delays, a few wrong turns, a few false starts. But that is how all journeys are. They're full of surprises. Often involve wrong turns and false starts. Often involve disappointments. But if they're successful, they also involve a determination to find one's destination. And so it is with our lives. Some of us are blessed, perhaps, with a pretty straight path in our lives, and if that's true, we should be grateful for it. But for many of us, there are some wrong turns, unexpected delays. We often encounter tragedy or treachery, and we often find ourselves in strange lands and chance upon surprising destinations. But it's important that we never consider our life unsuccessful because there are wrong turns or false starts or delays. That's part of the journey. That's part of the journey of our lives. The important thing is that, like the wise men, we always keep our eyes on that star and always get our bearings whenever there's been a wrong turn, whenever there's uncertainty, whenever we find ourselves in a strange land, to get our bearings from that star. What is the star of our lives? What is the star that guides our journey? It is perhaps the light that tells us to do what is right rather than what is easy. It's the light that tells us to be faithful to our family, our friends, our colleagues, even when, and maybe most importantly, when it's most difficult. It's the light that tells us never to give way to cynicism or despair, even in the darkest and most difficult times. It's the light that reveals to us, in the words of Jesus, it isn't giving that we receive. It isn't dying to ourselves that we're born to eternal life. That's the light. That's the star of faith that guides our life even when we make wrong turns, even when there are delays, even when we find ourselves in strange lands, confronting tragedy and treachery. We all, in large or small ways, know in our lives wrong turns and frustrations and delays and strange lands and difficulties and rough terrain. The important thing is not that we occasionally lose our way or we occasionally find ourselves confused or challenged. The important thing is that we continue to fix our gaze on that star. Continue to look for its light. Continue to get our bearings from it. No matter how confusing the situation, no matter how strange the territory, no matter how great the challenges. That's the star of faith. That's what guides our journey. That's what guided the journey of the wise men. And it led them, and it will lead us to find Christ. And in that moment of joy, that moment of consolation, that moment of finding our destination, we will both give and receive great gifts. May God bless each and every one of you and all of us on our journeys.